Welcome to the Florida Family LawCast. My name is Amber Kornreich, and it's my pleasure to introduce board certified attorney Jamie M. Epstein, one of Florida's distinguished board certified marital and family lawyers. With more than 16 years of experience, Jamie has built a reputation for her sharp legal expertise and her deep compassion for the families she serves. She's a respected leader in the Florida Bar Family Law section, where she's chaired the CLE committee and now serves on the review course committee. She's been recognized with multiple awards for her dedication and service, far too many to list here, most recently the Chair's Special Award for Merit. And she brings not only her knowledge, but also her warmth, energy, and true commitment to advancing our profession, making her the perfect voice to help us launch this new series. Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you, Amber. Thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. I'm happy to be here.
We're so happy to have you. So, Jamie, why did you pursue board certification in marital and family law?
So, like many of us, I'm kind of type A. So, I feel like if I'm going to do something, I want to put my best foot forward, be the best at it. And so that was a big reason for me. It was a personal goal of mine that I set several years ago. I have some amazing law partners that sort of paved the way for me in taking the exam, and I saw what it did and is doing for their careers, and it was sort of the natural next step for me. And so I went for it. As soon as I had all the necessary qualifications and credits, I went for it.
So, one of the intimidating aspects of applying for board certification is the application itself. So, what tips do you have for the board certification application?
So if you have any thought that you want to apply for board certification at any time in your career, pull up the application and start looking at it. I did this I probably looked at it for the first time 3 or 4 years ago. It's a very intense application. It requires a lot of detail. It requires a lot of record keeping. So when I first looked at the application 3 or 4 years ago, I understood what the requirements were. And another one of our board certified lawyers and section leaders, Cash Eaton, sent me a really amazing spreadsheet that he's typically happy to share. So I'm not going to offer it because it's not me, but reach out to Cash if you'd like one, that sets forth all of the requirements to meet a trial requirement, to meet the substantial involvement requirement. So start keeping track of your cases, because you would be surprised how easily you could forget, a 3 hour temporary relief hearing that you had 4.5 years ago. So keep track of that stuff. Keep track of your substantial involvement cases, the cases where, you're even the cases that you're not the lead attorney on. Keep track of those cases because they can still count as a trial or count as substantial involvement. So my biggest piece of advice is to look at the application well in advance before you even qualify, to see what the qualifications are. And then for me, for actually completing the application, I dedicated a few weekend days to it, where I wasn't distracted by phone calls at work or clients emailing or partners knocking on my door, buzzing me on the intercom. So I went home, I dedicated a few weekend days to it, and I did it all in a separate Word document before I inputted it into the application. Because I actually started inputting it into the application and had a mishap with saving it. I wasn't that far in, so it was okay. So I did the rest of it on a separate piece of paper and then input it all once it was complete.
So, when it comes to preparing for the exam, did you use any special study techniques that you can share?
I did. So for me, I'm not an outline person per se. I'm a flashcard person. So I know everybody has kind of their own style. So I used an app on the computer and on the phone called Brainscapes. And that is an app that you can do virtual flashcards. So it was really helpful for me because if I'm in a waiting room for, a doctor's appointment, or waiting outside of the chess class for my son when I have to sit there and have, nothing better to do, I'm scrolling through my phone on the flashcards. When it got closer to the exam, I started handwriting all my flashcards over and over and over and over again. For me, it was the act of writing it down over and over again that really helped me solidify everything. But that doesn't work for everybody. So you have to figure out what works for yourself, because everybody's going to give you their 2 cents. So if something's not working for you, move on to something else. Some people told me study during lunch, study from 5 to 6 in the morning or 6 to 7 in the morning. That didn't work for me because it takes me time to get into it. So I needed long bouts of time. So I did a lot of quality, not quantity necessarily, studying on the weekends.
So, those are really great tips. You're also a leader in the family law section. What advice do you have for anyone who's also looking to pursue leadership in the section?
So if you want to pursue leadership in the section, my biggest piece of advice, and I can't take credit for this because this is something that our esteemed chair said at the installation luncheon this past June, was go to meetings and talk to people. Because just like Amy Gross, our section chair, said, the first time that she went to meetings, she went to the meetings, she listened, she observed, and then she got in her car and went home. I did the same thing. I went to meetings in probably 2014. I went to them, I sat, I got on some committees, and then I wasn't active at all for 6 years. So I feel a little bit like I lost some opportunities in that 6 years that I just went and then got in my car and drove home. So my biggest piece of advice to you is talk to people when you're there. Everybody is wonderful. Everybody is in a similar position that you're in, and everybody's really warm and welcoming. So that's my biggest piece of advice is to, if you're going to get involved, get involved. Don't just show up.
Well, thank you, Jamie, for your optimism and your wisdom. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Yeah. So one thing that really surprised me about this entire process was how much I actually enjoyed the studying process. And I know that's a little bit of a strange thing to say, but there's so much material and there's so many topics covered in what we do on a regular basis that there are statutes that you're going to read and you're not even going to know that they existed before you read. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some of you out there do know all the statutes in and out. There are statutes that I did not know existed. And I said, wow, I should utilize this tool in my cases going forward. So you'll never be a better lawyer. You'll never have more knowledge of family law than you will at the conclusion of this process, whether you're successful on the first try or you're not successful on the first try. Enjoy the process. The other piece of advice that I would highly recommend, especially to those, women out there who are mothers, it's okay to ask for help. I know we all think we can do it all, but lean on those people in your village for support. I had to heavily rely on my spouse and some other trusted caretakers to step in and help with my son, and just be prepared that you're going to sacrifice some things. I mean, there are going to be things that you miss, and that's okay, because at the end of the day, like I said, it's worth it. And you'll enjoy the process if you really just kind of delve into it. And then my last piece of advice, which everybody said to me, but it really is true, is something's not working for you from a studying standpoint, change it up. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to your partner. Don't listen. Just figure out what works for you. You've taken many tests before and you're leading up to this point in your career. So try thinking back to the bar and thinking back to your law school exams and remember what worked for you. I'm not the type of person that can study into the wee hours of the morning. My brain shuts off. I know that about myself. So don't try to force things that don't come naturally to you.
Well, thank you so much, Jamie. We appreciate your time and your candor.
Thank you for having me, Amber. I really appreciate it.